Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The film begins with Elena, who is talking to her friend on the phone, and they're gossiping about their other friends they know. However, her phone runs out of battery, and she finds herself entering a place to sit for a while and also to charge her phone. In the bar, there are a few other people taking a break from their workday. After Elena enters a while later, a fat stranger who keeps coughing constantly comes out and says she needs to use the bathroom immediately, but no one around seems to care or check on her. In the bar, Elena meets the bar owner. Elena asks for coffee and a charger, and the owner gives her a variety of chargers to choose from, allowing Elena to pick the one that fits her phone. Then, a crazy man named Israel enters the bar. From the moment he arrives, Elena is very scared of him and tries to keep her distance. However, Amparo, giving him food and drink. As another man from the bar steps out, a bullet strikes him in the head, and everyone is terrified. They rush to the glass door to check on him and find that he's dead. Meanwhile, there's another man named Nacho in the bar, isolated from the world, with headphones on, unaware of what's happening. Everyone outside starts running away and fleeing as soon as they hear the gunshots and realize someone has been killed. At that moment, one of the people inside the bar steps out to check on the man who was killed outside. When he sees the man still moving, he tries to reassure him, but as soon as he steps closer, he also gets shot in the head and dies next to him. Panic strikes inside the bar, and everyone hides under the chairs and tables, terrified they might get shot next. One of the men, who had been oblivious to what was happening, finally grasps the gravity of the situation. Everyone is shocked that no police or ambulance has arrived to save them, especially since they're in the center of Madrid, a place that should be clearly visible to the world. They turn on the TV, hoping for news or information that could help them, but are stunned to find that there's no coverage or mention of their situation. During this time, a woman named Trini notices that the two bodies outside have disappeared. The others are equally confused, wondering where the bodies went. One of them, named Satur, suggests that they might all be dreaming and will wake up soon, or that the government is playing a trick on them to see how they would react. At this point, Amparo slams a pen down. Trina snapped them out of what she considers a ridiculous notion. Sergio, another man, suggests that there could be a terrorist among them with a bomb, threatening to blow up the place if the police intervene, which would explain why the square has been evacuated and why anyone who steps outside the bar is killed. They begin to suspect Nacho, who starts acting strangely and trying to hide his bag with his foot without anyone noticing. However, Sergio notices him, and with the help of another man, Andres, they grab the bag from Nacho and pin him down. Amparo quickly takes the bag and carefully opens it, only to find some sports clothes inside. Everyone initially thought the hard drive inside the bag might contain a bomb, but Nacho explains that he works in advertising, and the hard drive contains all his important work, which is why he was trying to protect it. Realizing that the hard drive doesn't hold a bomb, Amparo takes it and smashes it to pieces on the ground to reassure everyone that there's no threat. After they let Nacho go, he tells them that Sergio's bag looks suspicious, and they should search it because it might contain a bomb. He adds sarcastically, "Why don't you search me too then?" At that point, someone attempts to open the bag, but before they can, Sergio pulls out his gun. It turns out he used to be a soldier in the army. He forcefully takes the bag from Sergio, determined to search it himself. Just as he's about to inspect the bag, Israel quickly rushes over, grabs it, and heads toward the door, refusing to give it to anyone. Amparo tries to calm him down, explaining that if the bag is thrown carelessly, it could explode and kill them all. However, Israel ignores her warning and opens the bag himself. Inside, they find women's clothing. It turns out that Sergio is a trader in women's clothes. Suddenly, they all hear a noise coming from the bathroom, and everyone remembers the man who had entered earlier, coughing. They try to open the door, but it won't budge. Using his gun, Sergio breaks the lock, and they find the man inside, lying on the bathroom floor, looking ill and unable to move. Amparo is furious, assuming the man was doing drugs in the bathroom. Everyone else leaves him behind, but someone feels sorry for him and approaches. They find a strange syringe next to him and notice a lot of blood coming from his ear. Before they can do anything to help him, they hear shouting outside the bar, and everyone rushes toward the door when they hear people yelling, "Police!" Finally, a police car arrives at the scene. The group inside the bar thinks the police have come to save them from the danger they're facing. However, they are shocked when the police officers get out of the car and start gathering a pile of tires on the ground. The officers then set the tires on fire, get back into their vehicle, and drive away as if they didn't notice anyone inside the bar. Afterward, they see on the TV that an announcement is being made about a large fire in Madrid Square. The police have evacuated the area to try and control the situation. The announcement states that everything will be resolved in a few hours, It becomes clear that the fire was a distraction created by the police to keep the media away, hiding what was truly happening. Everyone inside the bar tries to understand why the police are doing this to them. Suddenly, the man who had been coughing in the bathroom emerges, looking strange with his body swollen as if it's about to burst. Before he can say anything, he collapses. Everyone rushes to help him, but he warns them not to touch him. Shortly after, he dies. Someone takes the strange man's phone, trying to figure out who he was. They discover that he was a military officer who served in Africa and had contracted the Ebola virus. The government had quarantined him to prevent the disease from spreading in Spain. That's why anyone who left the bar was immediately shot to prevent the virus from spreading. Now, understanding the situation, the group realizes they are trapped and must find a way to escape. As they talk, they notice that when they raise their phones toward the ceiling, they get a signal. One of them manages to get a connection and calls a journalist, an old acquaintance, but she doesn't recognize him. Sadr grabs the phone, yelling desperately at the journalist for help, but ends up ruining their only chance, and she hangs up. Nacho and Sadr argue over the phone, which now only has 10% battery left. In the scuffle, the table breaks, and they both fall to the ground. Andres steps in, trying to take control of the situation, but someone reminds him of the last thing the sick man said before dying. "Don't touch me." Suddenly, everyone becomes aware that whoever touched the man is likely infected. The disease could be spreading through contact. They realize that everyone who came into contact with him is at risk, except for Sergio, Amparo, and Andres. To avoid further infection, the others force those who had touched the man into the storage room. Amparo locks the door behind them to keep them isolated. As she does this, Sergio confronts her, saying, "You've betrayed me. I've spent my whole life serving you and now you're abandoning me?" Amparo responds coldly, "It's not my fault you touched the corpse and got infected." Then, she and the others retreat, leaving those infected trapped in the storage room. Downstairs, Trini starts feeling extremely unwell. They try to help her, but she has a phobia of tight spaces and she's struggling to breathe normally. She begins to panic and bangs on the storage room door, begging them to open it, but no one does. In her panic, she accidentally knocks over a box filled with bottles, and suddenly they discover that the liquid from the bottles has spilled onto the floor. When they move the boxes that were covering the ground, they find a small open pipe that leads to the sewer system, offering a way to escape through any sewer gate on the street. They decide to try going through it. Israel volunteers to go first, covering himself in oil and stripping off his clothes to make it easier to slide through. However, the opening is too narrow, and he gets stuck, unable to move forward or backward. Sadr tries desperately to pull him out, attempting to relieve Israel from the pain and discomfort he's feeling. While they're trying to free Israel, they suddenly hear gunshots from above in the bar. They think Sergio, Andres, and the others have been killed by the police, who might have come to prevent the virus from spreading. In a panic, they rush to turn off the lights in the storage room, hoping to remain unnoticed and avoid being shot like the others. Everyone stays completely silent, barely breathing, as they listen to the gunfire and imagine the police executing everyone one by one. Suddenly, they start smelling smoke and realize that the police, after killing the others, have set the bar on fire to cover up the situation and make it look like an accident. Trini, who already has a phobia of tight spaces, starts to suffocate from the smoke and runs toward the storage room door, trying to open it. But the door is made of metal, and it has become extremely hot from the fire outside, burning her hands. The others rush to apply oil to her hands in an attempt to soothe the burns. After numerous attempts, they finally manage to pull Israel out of the opening he was stuck in. Meanwhile, they realize the police have completed their mission and left the building. Listening closely, one of them cautiously peeks out of the storage room and sees that everything in the bar has been burned, and a seal has been placed on the building, meaning no one will be able to see them inside. They all step into the bar cautiously. One of them, still shaken, takes Andres' gun for protection, unsure of who to trust. They also take the phone of the man who had carried the virus from Africa, noticing it has been receiving numerous messages. When they open the messages, they discover that the man had been communicating with a friend about a vaccine for Ebola. It turns out that the man had entered the bar to hide from the police and take a dose of the vaccine. Now, everyone in the storage room realizes that if there's a vaccine, they all need it to cure themselves of the disease. They all head upstairs to search for the vaccine, hoping to find it with the man who had died earlier. Israel is the one who finds the vaccine in the bathroom. When the others catch up with him, they realize he has discovered the vaccine. But there's a major problem. There are only 4 doses, and there are 5 of them. They start discussing how to solve this problem and eventually decide to draw lots to determine who won't get a dose. However, before they can proceed, Israel takes one of the doses and prepares to inject himself. The rest of the group starts to panic, especially since Israel had taken a gun from the bar and hidden it without telling them. This leads them to believe that Israel might betray them all at any moment. Trini steps in, trying to calm everyone down. saying that the most important thing right now is the vaccine and that they can deal with the gun issue later. Tensions rise as Israel continues to threaten the group, insisting that he'll inject himself and leave them to fight over the remaining doses. Ignoring everyone's objections, Israel injects himself with the vaccine, securing his own safety. This enrages one of the group members, who attacks Israel, throwing him against the walls in a fit of anger. But Israel, having regained his strength from the drug-induced stupor he was in earlier, fights back. He grabs the gun and starts threatening everyone, telling them that if anyone makes a move or tries to do something he doesn't like, he'll shoot them. Israel yells at the group, saying that just because he's poor and alone, they think they can gang up on him and take advantage. He adds that even if he had given them the doses, nothing would have changed. They still wouldn't have treated him any better. At that moment, Sauter tries to grab the remaining doses, but Israel sees her and attacks. The doses fall and drop into the storage area, but no one seems to care about them except Trini, who seizes the opportunity to go down and retrieve one for herself. However, all the doses slip from her grasp and fall into the opening leading to the sewers. She stands there, lamenting her bad luck and foolishness. Once they all calm down, they descend into the area and discover that the doses have fallen into the sewer. They start brainstorming on how to retrieve the doses and save themselves from dying. Eventually, they decide that Elena should be the one to go down and fetch the doses since she's the smallest and the only one who can easily navigate the tight space. Initially, Elena is hesitant and refuses to do it, but the others insist, pressuring her. Israel threatens her with the gun, forcing her to agree. They begin preparing, putting on heavy boots to help her traverse the narrow opening she'll need to squeeze through. When she finally descends, she experiences extreme discomfort due to the tightness of the space, but manages to make it through. Once inside the sewer, Elena dives in to retrieve the doses. The others above call out for her to tie the doses to the rope they've lowered for her to pull them up. However, she refuses to hand over the doses, realizing she must keep them for herself. She informs them that if they want the doses, they'll all need to come down to get them. While they prepare to descend, Elena carefully hides the doses in a secret spot below, determined to protect herself from any betrayal. Then she goes to look through the openings in the sewer and sees that the police are still in the area. Israel declares that he'll kill Sauter and they'll take the 3 doses for themselves, and that'll solve all their problems. However, his kind nature surfaces, and he can't bring himself to kill Sauter. They all walk together to find the vaccine after Elena decides to inform them. On their way, they pass through a very narrow and dark part of the path. Suddenly, the path collapses, and Israel falls into the water, nearly drowning, while pretending to save him. In reality, she's drowning him. Nacho fires a shot into the air. Trina stops what they're doing, as he wants to kill Trini for planning to betray them. But he doesn't succeed. Trini takes the gun and walks away, committing suicide to relieve them of her presence after the chaos she's caused throughout the day. They proceed to find the vaccine. Just as they secure it, they hear a sound, like something being thrown to the ground. They all move toward the sound, where they discover Trini dead on the ground, her eyes covered. They're confused by her appearance and don't understand why she looks this way. At this moment, they hear Israel's voice coming from behind them as he shoots Sauter, killing him and tossing him into the water. He then quickly escapes with Elena to save themselves before Israel can kill them too. Israel climbs up to the sidewalk and they hurry after him. As they ascend, Israel manages to catch up with them and grabs one of them. When Elena attempts to open the sewer lid, her vaccine slips from her grasp. When Nacho realizes he won't survive, he hands them his vaccine, plunges into the water with Israel, and they both die together against the rocky sewer floor. Elena manages to open the sewer lid and emerges onto the street, where the police officers are still in the area. However, no one notices her. People who see her give her clothing to cover herself, and she walks through the street feeling depressed and in disbelief that she survived and escaped after everything that happened. As she walks, she sees a news report stating that the incident was caused by a small fire in a bar, resulting in the deaths of only 3 people. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button to get more new videos. See ya!